All right, so we're back again, and we're going to try this slightly differently. We're going to record it here, and then we'll upload it because we're just getting really horrible network performance. I thought I had it pretty dialed in, but it did start buffering quite badly. So, you are the Vegas Madam. You were approached by the FBI to get involved in sextortion,
Yes.
brownstoning, blackmailing, specifically Bill Clinton.
At the time, yes, but I knew it was it would be an endless enemy list because it falls into politics, yes.
Well, this would have been your first gig with them, I guess, was to set up Bill Clinton and try and do what? What did they propose? Just get him with a prostitute and they would bust him.
Yes, exactly. Yes. They just want to take him out anyway.
Mm-hmm. And so, at the time, the president was George H.W. Bush.
Running again for office.
So
And Bush Jr. was running for governor.
Of Texas.
And I was living in Houston.
Okay. So then and Bill Clinton obviously was in Arkansas. Was he the governor at the time?
That's going so back in history. Yes, he was, because that's exactly what I talked with Newsweek with Michael Isikoff.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's very interesting.
Yes.
It's very interesting. Okay, so you refused to do it, and then your life became miserable, you said.
It's never came back. I mean,
They threw you in jail.
it's just done. Oh, yeah.
Threw you in jail for 8 years.
Yeah, it's a $100,000 bond. They filed a life sentence on me on that. Yeah.
A life sentence?
They did.
What,
It
for
forced
what?
you to plea bargain, I guess.
So organized crime was the prostitution. So it was a RICO charge, basically.
No RICO in it, though.
Hmm.
Yeah, no others involved.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
So how is it organized crime?
But normally it's called, it's got another name for it, where you just own an escort service. But the organized crime just shows evidence that the feds were involved. But they pushed it over in state where they can control it better.
So what can you tell us about all these guys that were involved?
Oh, okay. Well then, okay, to bring up D.C. Madam Palfrey, okay, she did work for them. She did work with CIA Kyle Fogel, and so did in Maryland, Brandy Brighton, and they were both found hanging with a yellow nylon rope, suicide. She had amassed all kind of monies here.
We've heard about the D.C. Madam, or at least I think many people have heard about the D.C. Madam.
Yes.
So you're saying she got involved in these sextortion operations, the brownstoning, etc. And I mean, you're basically in the criminal operation then. And they can take you out at any time.
Own you, control you, just keep it going. And the thing is, though, when the heat comes on the investigations, like in this case their case with James Clapper, he was with CIFA, Counterintelligence Agency, Counterintelligence Federal Agency. Okay, because I can't remember, this is all so far back. And but James Clapper did take about, and then you see Obama promoted him into position over all of the agencies, and the media actually took out James Clapper for being such a snoop. So they closed down CIFA, C-I-F-A. They closed that down. But by that time, he had already snagged Madam Palfrey and CIA Fogel, and they were sextorting Randy Duke Cunningham, who was over the military Senate committee. So it's like pimp my war is the words that I use.
What do you mean by
this.
that?
Well, they had control of Duke Cunningham. He actually ended up going to prison. I have articles on
And who
here.
was he?
Okay. Is there a camera for
Yeah,
this? Okay. Do you want to hold it closer or not or what?
So this is Thomas.
And him and Thomas.
How do I pronounce his last name? Contag.
I don't know. But Duke Cunningham.
Contagianis pleaded guilty to a single count of money laundering in the Cunningham
He
case.
was, yeah, I know.
So this is all on your website.
And this was with Union Tribune staff writer. I don't. SignOnSanDiego.com. It was San Diego News.
And what's the purpose
August
of the
5, 2007.
What's the purpose of the website? You want to educate people, or you're trying to raise funds for some purpose? Or?
It is for me because it's irreparable. So for me, it's for venting and any possible point of revenge I could possibly ever get. I'm sorry to say
revenge
it
or
that
justice?
way. There is no justice. Justice is long gone. No, this is tragedy. This is tragic. No, very tragic. The things I can't talk about. It's irreparable. So it's revenge. I don't know how else to say it.
So you're saying beyond being thrown in jail and losing your home, there's tragic things that
My son murdered. Okay, so we're going to just stop there. And so from now here, it's revenge. And it's the only form because there is no justice. You don't go back in time like that. The Bundys, the people at the concert, same thing. There's no justice for that. Now, a lot of them are able to go to, and good for them, the church and all of that. I don't have that, okay? And I don't want that. I prefer the anger. The anger keeps me going stronger. That makes me strong. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, don't
Okay.
be sorry.
Because there's a lot of victims of this out of control government.
Were you here in Las Vegas on October 1st during the shooting?
I live approximately 4 miles from the shooting.
And you were at home?
I was, and I didn't know about it till the next morning when my niece called me early and told me.
Do you know any people that were shot or injured?
I know people that know people, so no.
And do you feel like Stephen Paddock sat in that room on the 32nd floor and shot, or something else happened?
Oh, there's definitely more involved. Oh, most definitely, quite clearly, obviously, in the so-called deep state world. I almost hate to use the word deep state, even though it's an easy word, because there are names, people, places, people, and badges behind that word, deep state. But, okay, so with this crowdsource, I would like to see if you can create some, like for talking points, correlations of the Bundy and the mass shooting Paddock case.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got 8 listed here, or rather 7. That was indeed the same FBI involved, FBI, Arizona, Longbow. You
Right.
can see that on my website, Googling CIA
What is that
Pimps.
longbow?
Oh, they are a fake film production company that sprang up, I guess, during the Bundy investigation phase. I really think they existed before that. But they news article shows that and he says, FBI does claim under the name of Charles Johnson that they travel across 8 states to interview various participants of the Bundy trial, which also included Jared and Amanda Miller, who were they had moved to Vegas 9 months prior to that. They did attend the Bundy trial, and then those two ended up killing those 2 cops. So in my mind, this FBI longbow is going around radicalizing people And I do believe, and needs to be investigated, but by who, that they did interview Jared and Amanda Miller before they shot the 2 Vegas.
So now, so wait a second. So FBI Longbow is a film production company that conducted an interview.
Fake out of Arizona. They're out of Arizona. Everything is attached to the FBI out of Arizona. They traveled to Texas, Garland, Texas, to the Draw Muhammad, where those cops got shot at.
Draw Muhammad.
Muhammad.
Someone put together an event because they know that
Pam
people,
Geller.
they hate it when you draw Muhammad, and they thought that would create some kind of an incident.
Friction. And here these two, you call them Muslim, I'm sorry, but 2 guys who had been radicalized by this Arizona FBI Longbow traveled from Arizona to Dallas and shot at those 2 cops. But before they shot, the FBI was in the car behind them, jumps out, takes a picture of the guard, cop and the guard sitting there, and then he drives off, and the 2 Muslims who had been radicalized got out and started shooting at them, and the Texas cop shot and killed them both. And then Garland FBI Longbow drives and gets caught and arrested by Garland police.
So when you say Garland FBI Longbow, I'm trying to understand, it's an FBI operation, or it's a film production company created by the FBI, or?
Out of Arizona.
Okay, so the FBI has undercover agents who are acting like they're a film production company making a movie about the Bundys, is that it?
Yes, and they're like supposedly some kind of this elite FBI group that travel around the states.
Uh-huh.
What they said that they read on the internet, people who post angry comments, and they'll go follow them and then radicalize them. That's on the... He's saying that himself.
Who's saying that?
FBI out of Arizona, Longbow. Goes
Where
by
is
the
he saying
fake
that?
name, Charles Johnson.
So Charles Johnson works for the FBI, and he, what, on the internet is saying, where is he saying that he's seeking out people and radicalizing them?
Oh, and there again, you can find that on my website, on the CIA Pimps, where you go and you go, it's called Feds Killing Cops or Just Collateral Damage Again. And then you scroll down and past the shooting. If you'll scroll down and you'll see, let me see, FBI's Fake Longbow Productions, number 7. Yeah, interviewed. It's by The Intercept, by the way. Look on intercept.com. The bizarre story behind the FBI's fake documentary about the Bundy family.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I want to try to get that
Very telling.
back here.
Very telling. And then just below that, this is the FBI radicalizing modus operandi. This is their MO. FBI Charles Johnson, that's his AKA, out of Arizona. And this is where, remember, Arizona, Fast and Furious, and border agent Brian Terry was murdered. So that's all this same people.
Longbow was involved in Fast and Furious?
Yes. Arizona FBI was that.
Right.
And I want to just switch gears for a second.
Sure.
To this Bundy trial. The one that had Greg Burleson was a defendant, just got 68 years in federal prison. He's gone blind from diabetes since being in prison. He worked with them.
With who?
FBI Arizona, on the border. And I can't myself go into further details because I'm not aware of them.
Okay.
But it says in court. And when he went to court, they stopped trial for a minute to put him on the trial with the district attorney quizzing him and they sentenced him, but there was no cross-examine was allowed. And that's so unusual. No cross-examine. The attorneys for the defendants could not ask him any questions. How weird is that?
I mean, how is that even allowed?
I thought they spared Greg Burleson, just of my 2 cents, of the death penalty for something he had done with them. So they would have compassion because he had gone blind 68 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you're sort of giving us a bunch of different FBI influence operations where they take different people and force them to do things, and then at some point those people need to be liquidated, correct?
It would sure seem like it. The 2 women, madams that I know that did work for them, Palfrey and Brandy Brighton, both did. I didn't work for them. I did 8 flat. They filed life on me, but to force you to plea down to 10, I did 8 on the 10 in a state. I'm still here, but like barely, not really.
So they gave you a life sentence, forced you into a plea arrangement rather than pleading not guilty and going on with an interminable legal battle that would have cost a lot of money that you didn't have.
Well, I had the money.
Oh, you did?
It doesn't matter about the money. The force was against me. I sure did.
I see. Mm-hmm. How long did that trial go on for?
I actually was able to make a bond for an appeal bond, so that stood out for another year or 2. So I'm going to guess off top in in my memory there, 3 years maybe.
The trial went on for 3 years.
No, it was a trial, and then you make an appeal bond because you have an appeal. You have right to an appeal.
Right.
So I was able to make bond on that. And they wanted to know where I got the money for all of that. They sure did. They didn't think I could, but it's an escort business. Hello.
So you were still running the escort business while you were on trial for organized crime?
Well, of course, because they were all in the wrong. They were in the wrong, and I really expected that they were going to say, sorry, excuse us, wrong direction. We'll leave you alone now. I mean, stupid me. But that was back then when we were like naive. We were still, like I said, we were
naive
into the
about what?
Life. We were into our happy family and shopping and our pets and our children.
Thinking that the government was benevolent and helping us and all that kind of thing.
They had nothing to do with my life.
But now you feel that, are they still monitoring what you do? Or
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I can't help but be paranoid. You call it schizoparanoid. But yes, it is because of what I do on the internet. If I was to go get a job at McDonald's and skip all my, just run over what happened to me and family, well, then yeah, I wouldn't. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to just walk away. No, I live for this.
What type of things are they doing to you now?
Nothing in Vegas. I moved to Vegas for refuge. It's been happy, joyful, friendly, helpful, lovely tourist town until this Bundy thing came on and this shooting. I never knew it existed in this city, and I believe a lot of people will agree with me. It never existed it has come to this town.
What's it?
The evil. The evil. You can call it deep state, but I'm the type of person, no, I want that person's name. I want them front page.
You may not want to discuss this, but you said your son was murdered.
Because it changes. It's too much. It's like driving by that, the crosses out there from the concert. I don't care who you are or how happy you are. You drive by those crosses and you're going to drop.
Why?
Your mind and your heart and your soul because of the depression. It's a funeral procession because we have no answers. We have people hiding it. The government hiding it. That's why. They themselves are murdering Vegas, the city of Vegas, not just the people who died, but many others surrounding.
How long ago was it that your son was killed?
I try not to remember that, honestly. But just throw it in the air, 7, 8 years. Just throw it in the air. I don't try to remember that.
I don't want to harp on it, but I just want to ask
know.
about the
I
circumstance so we can
but
tie
let's
it into
don't.
the whole government
Let's
thing.
don't.
Okay.
Okay.
But you're certain it was the FBI that did it?
Oh, my son, I'm going to say it's a freaking unknown. It's an unknown. Okay.
So
I'm
it
going to leave
remains
it at that.
unsolved, the case.
With me, it's an unknown. With me, it's an unknown. With me, it's an unknown.
Okay.
So I don't want to say yes. I'm not going to go there with that.
Okay. What else would you like to discuss
Oh,
with
okay.
regard to this?
Okay. Well, let's see. Well, I do hope people go to the CIA Pimps website and they can really get on, and I really hope people do, go on to take the time to get onto those links and read them over. I would like to see the complete end of all these political sextortions that with that dirty dossier. Where is that coming from? Like
Fusion GPS?
them, them and Britain, London, Europe, and all of that. And I'm just so sick of it. It's just like waving it in everybody's face, and that's police business. That's not the business of politics.
What do you mean it's police business?
Well, if somebody is having sex with an underage, isn't that police business, not the business of Washington, D.C., in order to win a campaign?
Well,
Judge Roy Moyer in this case.
Right. If the guy's having sex with underage people, that's the business. I mean, certainly if he's a public figure and he's doing that, it seems like...
Only comes out during campaigns. If he wasn't running for office, we'd never hear about it.
Did anyone ever ask you to, when they wanted you to get involved in this sextortion stuff, were underage children involved in that at all?
No, not during that time. It was all above age. Yeah. It's taken a new turn because we're all on the internet, not just myself, but Wayne Madsen, Andrew Craig. We're all on there jamming them about this. Well, I want to speak for myself, but about this pimp business. So now it's taking a turn. They're taking a turn and doing the underage thing, which of course, obviously, is a very serious situation. But does it just have to come out when somebody's running for office?
Well, it seems like there's a lot of things happening now. Maybe what we're seeing is after 1 year, the swamp is starting to slowly drain. These arrests that have happened in Saudi Arabia. I just heard today that Prince Bandar was arrested. That's a tremendous thing.
But we don't know why.
Well, this anti-corruption sweep, Bandar was named in the 28 pages that were redacted from the 9/11 report from the Senate Intelligence Committee. Bandar has been a longtime friend of the Bush family. It was interesting to me that you said that the FBI approached you when Bill Clinton was the governor, and H.W. was, I guess, vice president at the time or president at the time, and
Rerunning.
Right. Oh, so he was running against Bill Clinton.
First time Bill Clinton,
Right.
Governor Bill Clinton.
Right. So, okay, so H.W. would have been making his re-election
I think so.
Campaign against Bill Clinton.
And keep in mind also, I know there's Texas gets a lot of its, changing subjects, oil from Russia. So is it an oil war as well because the Saudis with their oil?
Texas gets oil from Russia?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I thought Texas is loaded with oil.
No, they were bringing it in. You saw the Texas oil people start losing out. It wasn't as rich, and they were bringing it in from Russia.
Huh.
Yes, most definitely. I met a guy with the crew.
I see.
Down in Texas City.
Well, you've got so many notes here and so many facts and details. What else would you like to dive
It just
into?
goes on. I don't know. This one's kind of curious here. If you want to read that one yourself, just the first sentence.
This is about Judy Gibbs, and she's a penthouse model and call girl burned to death in her house after agreeing to help in an investigation into Arkansas drug dealing. Now, I think I've heard about this
Bill
woman.
Clinton.
Yes, because this is related to Iran-Contra and Mina Airport. According to her family, Bill was a regular customer
Bill
at
Clinton.
Judy's bordello. And according to Barry Spivey, a Clinton bodyguard, Bill displayed Judy's penthouse photos on the gubernatorial plane as it flew over the burned ruin that had been her home. That's quite sick, if that is.
We don't know, but that was in it. Now this, because we are in Vegas, where this Bundy trial again is going on, and we have the Daniel Bogdan was the Attorney General. Okay, if you recall, during Bush Jr. fired all these U.S. attorneys. What was there, six? About 9 of them, plus these 3, so about 12 of them. A lot of them, I know the majority, minus 2, provenly were investigating political sextortion cases, yes.
And they were fired.
They were fired, yes. And Daniel Bogdan was investigating the Nevada governor, Jim Gibbons. That was such a set-up case with, what was her name? But that was a setup. It was real corny, so it never really went anywhere, but he was investigating it against the governor. And it's not that they want to bust them for having sex, for Christ's sakes. They want to own and control them, pimp my wars type thing.
Okay, so no, after you got out of prison, were you ever contacted by any of these FBI agents again, or they were just done with you? Are these guys still
Oh, no,
active?
they're done. Right. The only thing that they would have interested in me is to hook me back into prison again. Absolutely.
Now, a lot of people are going to see this and they're going to think, well, you know, this woman was engaged in an illegal business, she was convicted, she's a criminal, and she's telling us the FBI is doing bad things. Why would you, to someone who would feel that way, how could you convince them otherwise? What would you say to somebody?
Watch TV. All those political sextortions.
So Anthony Weiner, for instance.
Totally.
was
Elliot
that?
Spitzer, the sheriff of Wall Street. He was busted on his way the day to D.C. to inform with his message.
So it would seem maybe, because it always occurs to me that if there's advertising for escort services, I mean, we see it here in Vegas, prostitution is not
All
legal in
across
Vegas.
U.S.
And so why aren't they arresting the people
That is the
involved in
name
these
of
businesses?
Palfrey's a lawyer, Sibley Montgomery's book. The title is Why Her?
And he answers that question in the
No,
book.
he doesn't. He didn't know.
So he's just saying that out of all the escort services in the country, which
Gosh.
there are many,
Why her?
because she's
But I can answer it.
what's the answer?
The answer is she's living in she's in prison in California for extortion when running an escort service. When the FBI help her get out, she's in California, opens up a service where? The Swamp, D.C. She didn't open up an escort service in her hometown or near her. She's all the way across the nation in the Swamp running a service.
So wait a minute. So you're saying she's in jail for having run an escort service in California,
Extortion.
and someone says, "Hey, we can get you out of jail.
Yes.
Come
Yes.
to D.C."
Yeah. No, don't come to see these. Stay in California, open your service.
So she was in California, but the place was in
Yeah.
DC. What is it that a madam does exactly? What's the difference between a madam and a pimp?
Male or female.
I see. So what were you doing in your role as a madam? You're promoting, you're putting ads, you're
Yeah, ads, the money.
handling the money.
Yes. Yes.
Why did they need this woman at all? Why do they? She's basically rounding up prostitutes, and they just want a point of contact.
Now that it's on the internet, yeah, I think you can pretty much work on your own now. This was pre-internet, and so it was Yellow Pages.
So is the
So we had to do the
FBI
ads.
still doing this type of thing, or how is the internet playing into it? I mean, these brownstoning, these sextortion operations, are there madams around? Is this type of thing still going on?
Oh, I'm absolutely sure there are. I mean, you know, I said no. How many said yes? I mean, honestly, if you're smart, you say yes. You don't want to
But
do.
the women who said yes wound up dead.
Those two did. What about the others that didn't? But I don't know because I said no.
Did
But
you
there
know
are
these
out
women
there.
who were killed?
I spoke with Madam Palfrey, and Brandy Brighton was in our group SWAT, Sex Workers Outreach Program. We're global. And Brandy Brighton was very afraid of being killed because of what she knew. That was her concern. I did not speak with her, but Carol Lay did. LEIG out of San Francisco did, and she called me, want to know what does she do. I don't know, because all I know is you report the devil to the witch. There's no one to report to. There's no one to report this to. The Bundys have no one to report this to. Nobody. Once you're tagged, that's it. I don't know. To get a plane where they don't, like to Russia, where they don't, where they have that, they can't bring you back.
Siberia, Gulag?
Yeah, all that. Just
I don't know.
not gulag.
I don't know.
But where they don't have extradition.
Ah.
Yeah, something. I don't know. Once you're tagged, you're in.
You mentioned to
Okay.
me some sort of a link between Stephen Paddock and what went on with the Bundys. Not the Bundy family, of course, but was there some sort of
That's
connection?
that FBI Arizona longbow. You better believe it. They need to be looked into. And that elite group that's, because what happened here in in Nevada with the Bundys in Bunkerville, which is a 5-minute drive from Mesquite where Paddock lived. And he did go to the gun store with, buying guns, chit-chatting with Skipper, a guy named Skipper who owned or worked there at that guitars and guns store. Asked the Bundy people about this, Bundy supporters about this. But then Skipper was working with the Bundys. So in my logic, thinking, obviously Paddock was there at the Bundy situation, which went on for quite some time. But I don't know which side he would stand with, feds or with cowboys. He's down
Wow.
here shooting cowboys.
Yeah, I don't think he would stand with cowboys at all.
So that's curious, and he's looking like he's CIA. And I wanted
You're
to
saying
show.
Paddock looks like he's CIA.
In 2006, as this article here shows,
What makes you say that Paddock is with CIA?
his airplane that he owned from 2006, sold it in 2010.
This is George Knapp, investigative reporter. Torture taxis make regular stops in Las Vegas. This is an article from 2006, so okay. What is this telling us here? The Bush administration. This is on your website? Oh no, this is LasVegasNow.com. Torture taxis from 2006. How is Stephen Paddock related to this? This is his planes they're using?
No, well, all I'm saying is this is during the same time era when he did have his airplane, 2006 to 10, and here we have the CIA to Vegas bringing their CIA torture planes here, parking them here. It's very common. And there were some excerpts, and Mr. George Knapp does call them real bad dudes.
But I don't know that ties it to Stephen
No,
Paddock.
we don't.
Okay. So I'm not sure that...
No.
Right.
It's just something to look into further.
Sure.
The airplane world is a small world.
Okay. Was there anything else here that you wanted to cover?
Private planes. Let's see. I will just throw this in. We had an Israeli escort service That was, this is in the Associated Press. Authorities dismantle a massive Palm Springs prostitution ring that did include San Diego and Las Vegas. So whether they were caught up in the, there again, 2006, of
So
course.
does this have to do with Jeffrey Epstein?
See, we wouldn't know all, we can't connect all the dots. I said no. I don't like to know where dead bodies are buried. I'm alive.
Well, Epstein is still alive, but an Israeli escort service in Florida sounds like something he would probably know about. Elite Entertainment. Who is this? The suspects. Moses. Well, there's a lot of material here. I think maybe we should be directing people to go to your website. Is there something you'd like to say in conclusion, madam?
Don't mess with Texas.
Don't mess with Texas.
I say that in a very exhaustive kind of way.
Okay. Do you, so people can search for CIA Pimps on
Yes.
Google, and that will get them to your website?
Yes, and maybe, you know, like your service says, crowdsource the truth. Try to help dig into this. You know, that's all I'm doing is digging into what happened.
Right.
What happened? Why her? Why me? Why
Right.
them?
Well, I think it's interesting for people to see this aspect of, you know, law enforcement that maybe people who are working in an office or you know, some business other than the type of business you're talking about might not know about. And I mean, we hear about these brownstoning operations, we hear about this sextortion stuff, but you've experienced it firsthand. And as you say, it's had a tremendous impact on your life.
And it needs to stop because it is impacting the nation and the world.
Well, Vegas Madam, thank you for sharing your story with us. It was lovely to meet you. I hope things improve for you.
Oh, it never will. There's no even thought of that. It's done.
Okay.
It's a done deal. This is all that's left. But
Can we-
thank you.
Can we leave on a slightly more positive note? Anything?
It's
All right.
fix the world's problems.
Hopefully something we've said tonight can help contribute to that.
Oh, thank you so much.